Kansas City took a two-hit shutout into the 8th inning. The Dodgers avoided a sweep, halted a season-high 4-game losing streak, and thanks to a broken bat base hit by Paul LaDuca, regained a toehold on first place. And that was ensured on a game-ending play by Alex Cora, the 33rd save for Eric Gagne. And so tonight, the first-place Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals, led by Jim Edmonds with 17 home runs and Pujols with 21. It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Fox Sports Net 2 presents the Dodgers as they take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you, wherever you may be. The Cardinals are in town, and you have the prospect of two first-place teams battling to stay where they are, albeit the Cardinals 3.5 games in front of Cincinnati. Nevertheless, the Birds have 18 of 23 on the road, and they have not been a good road team. They've won 30 games at Busch Stadium, but only 19 on the road. The Dodgers and the Cardinals split 4 in St. Louis just before the All-Star break. The pitching today, Travis Smith, who beat the Dodgers, Omar Dahl, who was beaten by the Cardinals. You know, if you go back to May the 12th, you remember that both the Cardinals and the Dodgers were in third place. Remember the old Johnny Mathis song about the 12th of never? Well, a lot of people felt on the 12th of May that neither the Cardinals nor the Dodgers would never get to first place. Well, they are riding high, and the collision, game one of a 2-game series tonight. We'll get to the starting lineups. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. By Kia Motors, makers of a full line of quality cars. By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher, Gatorade, is it in you? And by Nissan, driven. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dodger Stadium in game one of a very brief 2-game series with the St. Louis Cardinals. They already played 4 games and split them in St. Louis. Tonight might remind you a little bit of St. Louis. It's slightly on the humid side, but nothing at all compared to the weather that was in St. Louis for the 4 games upon the Dodgers' arrival just before the All-Star break. For the Cardinals, 10 games above 500 and 3.5 games in front of Cincinnati in the Central Division, a team that has done very well at home but is under 500 on the road. Let's take a look at the names on Tony La Russa's card. Fernando Vina, who is certainly one of the more underrated and underlooked players at second base. Then you have Placido Polanco at third. Jim Edmonds hitting third in center field. Albert Pujols in the cleanup spot in left. Eduardo Perez will be at first base, Tony's boy, playing for the left-hand hitting Tino Martinez. Edgar Renteria, one of the better clutch hitters in the game, is the shortstop. Eli Marrero is in right field, a converted catcher. J.D. Drew has a touchy knee, and Marrero is in there tonight against left-hander Omar Dahl. Mike DeFelice will be behind the plate for St. Louis. Travis Smith, who beat the Dodgers when we were in St. Louis, will have his second shot at them. Meanwhile, the exchange of lineup cards at home plate with Jim Tracy and Tony La Russa. La Russa has had to overcome several injuries, and of course the most glaring loss of all, the loss of Darryl Kyle as a human being and as a player. And with the absence of their #1 pitcher, things have been very difficult, and they have suddenly been relying on kids like Simon Taki and Bud Smith and Travis Smith trying to get the job done. However, when Cincinnati went out and made the deal for Bartolo Colon, the pressure seems to be on Walt Giacchetti that he has to do something and come up with a big-name pitcher. A lot of names have been bandied about, but nothing has happened as Travis Smith walks in from the bullpen. Let's take a look at the Dodgers that will face Travis Smith a second time. And it will start off with the pepper pot. Dave Roberts leading off in center field. Paul LaDuca behind the plate. Sean Green batting third in right field. And Brian Jordan in the cleanup spot in left. Eric Karras is at first base. Adrian Beltre will be at third. Mark Grassolonic at second, and those two have struggled offensively all year. The Dodgers hoping that Beltre and Grassolonic will do it. Meanwhile, Cesar Izturis really struggling, batting left-handed, but he's in there tonight against the right-hander Travis Smith. And on the mound, Omar Dahl. So it's the Dodgers and the Cardinals, game 5 of the Schedule 6, and we'll be getting game 1 of this 2-game series underway right after this. Hi once again, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be here at Dodger Stadium. The temperature is 74 degrees at game time as Omar Dahl begins to tune up to Paul LaDuca, and the crowd we can see still filing in back of left field. And as we always do, just a caution, especially to those driving cars, to exercise a little patience, and hopefully we will get underway and you won't miss very much. Among others, some very cute little guys in the ballpark, hats turned around, reminding you of Skippy or Linus or Charlie, of course. Meanwhile, the stage is set for the big boys. Omar Dahl ready to go to work against Fernando Vina, Placido Polanco, and then Jim Edmonds. So Omar Dahl, 7-4. He was really rocked around by the Cardinals last time out. He is 1-3 lifetime. He has pitched well at Dodger Stadium, and they're hoping that now that he is home, Omar will shape up a wee bit. So Dahl into the windup, and the first pitch to Vina is low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Fernando Vina looked like he was going to have another third straight 300 season. Then he hit a real bump in the road. He takes a breaking ball, low ball, 2-0. So as he checks in at the plate now, he's hitting 274. He was 23 for 107. That really chilled him, but he is still one of the better ball players in the league. Takes a strike, and the count 2-1. For Vina in his leadoff role, he has to hit his way aboard. He's a very impatient hitter. He's only walked 23 times. That's certainly not very much for a leadoff man. The 2-1 pitch on the way, and Vina promptly hits it right at Izturis on the line. So down he goes, 1 away. And with that ball hit at Izturis, we'll take a look at the Dodgers defensively. And they shape up this way. Karras, Grassolonic, Izturis, and Beltre. Brian Jordan, who has done a good job with 5 outfield assists in left field. Dave Roberts, Sean Green, Paul LaDuca behind the plate, and Dahl now working on Placido Polanco. Placido Polanco is using the whole ballpark. For a while he fell into the trap of trying to pull everything, but no more. He takes outside, ball 1. He has recaptured the stroke of last year when he hit 307. He had 8 hits and 9 at-bats. He had a 5-hit game against the Dodgers. So 1 ball and no strikes the count. The pitch off the plate, and 2-0 the count. Placido Polanco hitting above 290, 292 to be exact. His on-base percentage is never particularly high. He takes a strike, and the count 2-1 to Polanco. Polanco's on-base percentage only .318. He has 5 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way, and Polanco takes low and off the plate, ball 3, and the count 3-1. Polanco had a big series against the Dodgers, against Omar Dahl, and against anybody else the Dodgers sent out to the mound. And on deck, Jim Edmonds. Polanco had his 5-hit game in the Dahl game. The pitch in for a strike, and the count 3-2. Dahl, you may remember, went only 3 2/3 innings. So 3 of the 5 hits from Polanco were against Dahl, and he picked a couple more along the way. 3-2 pitch is swung on, hit in the gap in left center, and that's going to go to the wall. Brian Jordan racing over to pick it up. Polanco into second base, and he will hold on with a long double. So the last time we saw him, he piled up those 5 hits. So as far as the Dodgers are concerned, he's been on base 6 consecutive times. So Polanco a long double. And remember too, it was Polanco who came up in the 9th inning against Gagne with the bases loaded and hit into a double play starting at the plate. And he felt like the GOAT when the Dodgers won that game 6-5. Well, all he has done since that game has gone 6 for 6 against Dodger pitching. So Polanco at second base, and the batter is Jim Edmonds. Sidearm sinker in at the knees for a strike, and the count 0-1. Jim Edmonds, a lot of firepower, 17 home runs, still bothered by a sprained right wrist. Still has 1 or 2 good swings in every at bat. He has 17 home runs, 45 runs batted in, takes low 1-1. Against left-hand pitching, he has 4 of the 17 home runs, hitting in the 270s. And on deck is the big gun, the cleanup man, and that would be Albert Pujols. Dahl back and misses inside. As far as left-hand starters are concerned, the Cardinals are 12-8 against them. So Dahl trying to get the Dodgers well. Meanwhile, Arizona is in San Francisco. We'll watch that game for you carefully. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Jim Edmonds. Dahl deals, and that's fouled back, and the count 2-2. Rick Helling will be going for Arizona, and Ryan Jensen will be going for the Dodgers. Omar Dahl has been a better pitcher, at least on paper, as a reliever than as a starter. 2-0 as a reliever with an ERA of less than 1. 5-4 as a starter with an ERA over 6. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, and Edmonds cranks a towering drive to right field. Green to the wall and watches it go in the seats. So Omar Dahl has jumped on again. That means in the last 3 2/3 innings, the Cardinals have hit him for 10 runs, and the Birds take a 2-0 lead. It is amazing the difference as Dahl starting and relieving. Earned run average less than 1 in relief, and an ERA of way over 6. He got a pitch up and out over the plate, and Edmonds hits his 18th home run and his 5th against left-hand pitching. And just like that, the Dodgers find themselves in a hole, 2-0. Dahl ready and delivers, and Pujols takes high. Ball 1, 1-0. So Jim Edmonds, who may become one of the top 3 slugging hitters in the history of the St. Louis Cardinals. Pujols takes ball 2, 2-0. The number 1 man would be Mark McGwire, number 2 Johnny Mize, and number 3 Jim Edmonds. Pitch in for a strike. Edmonds had a slugging percentage of over .580. McGwire is about 100 points higher, and he has a long way to go. 2-1 to count to Pujols, and a fastball is sliced down the right field line. Green overshifted, can't catch up to it, and it bounces up into the stands for a ground rule double. So Omar Dahl is suddenly faced with the fact that he has wanted to start, insisted on starting, finally got a break, and is now struggling as a starting pitcher. So he gives up a line drive out. It could be worse. The double by Polanco, the home run by Edmonds, and now the double by Pujols. And the batter will be Eduardo Perez. Jim Colburn making his notes in the Dodger dugout, and they can't be happy notes at all as Big Perez climbs in. Perez has 3 home runs against left-hand pitching and 5 for the year, trying to pick up Albert Pujols, who just came up with his 26th double. So Perez at the plate, 2-0 St. Louis in the first inning. Omar Dahl deals high and away. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. Placido Polanco set the torch with the double to left center. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Perez checks, it's in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Polanco, when he walked up to the plate, was hitting .409 in the month of July, and he promptly doubled. And it's the Dodgers who really gotten him well. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Dahl delivers, ground ball to the left of his Turris. He's on it, makes the throw to first for the out, and on the play Pujols takes third. So 2 out, a runner at third, and Edgar Renteria coming up. And Renteria is certainly no walk in the park. He has been a very tough clutch hitter, and it's been that way for him all year. Renteria hitting .287. He has 4 home runs, 36 runs batted in. He's hitting .375 with men in scoring position, and he has a runner at third with 2 out. So the right-hand hitting shortstop waiting. Dahl works him very high. Ball 1. Travis Smith, meanwhile, sitting in the dugout, has 2 in the bank, and he hasn't gone to work yet. St. Louis 2, Dodgers nothing. Dahl struggling. Omar hands it his sides, now out of his stretch. And the 1-0 pitch on the way to Renteria, and that's swung on. High fly ball into deep left center, but it looks playable. Roberts at the wall to make the catch in left center field. So Dahl didn't fool anybody, but he gets out of the inning. He certainly didn't fool Jim Edmonds, who took him into the right field stands for a 2-run home run. And at the end of half an inning, St. Louis 2, Dodgers blue. St. Louis Cardinals jump out in front with 2 in the first inning. Jim Edmonds coming up with that big 2-run home run. We'll take a look at the Cardinals defensively as Travis Smith tunes up, the right-hander out of Springfield, Oregon. He's 29 years old. He's a graduate of Bend High School in Bend, Oregon. Also went to school at Texas Tech and was a pretty high right draft choice. And now, with the absence of Darryl Kyle, they're looking to the kids. They got Bud Smith and now Travis tonight. For the Cardinals defensively to try and help him out, here's the way the Birds stack up. They made 53 errors this year with Eduardo Perez at first base, Fernando Vina, Edgar Renteria, and Placido Polanco. Albert Pujols, a Gold Glove in center field. Jim Edmonds has a case full. He has 4 of them in the last 5 years, and he has Gold Gloves with 2 in the American League, 2 in the National League. Eli Marrero over and right. For the Dodgers now trying to come back, it will be Dave Roberts followed by Paul LaDuca and then Sean Green, and Dave takes low, ball 1, and the count 1-0. So Travis Smith working on Dave Roberts, bottom of the first inning. Roberts hitting .297, shows bunt, takes a strike, and the count 1-1. Travis Smith 2-0, both victories at Busch Stadium, where he has an ERA of less than 1.5. He went 6 innings to beat the Dodgers, allowing just 1 run. Tough game. The Dodgers lost 3-2. The pitch down and away, ball 2. Of course, there should be an asterisk and a footnote. That was the game where the Dodgers arrived at 5 a.m. in St. Louis, July 4th, got to the hotel at 5:45, and if they were really bearing down, they got to bed a little before 7 a.m. for a 5 o'clock game. Ground ball to the right side, up with it there easily is Vina to get him. So Roberts rolls out, 1 down, and the batter now will be Paul LaDuca. LaDuca has been struggling. They all do, no matter how good they are. And yet, one way or another, he managed to come up with a big base hit yesterday to drive in what turned out to be the winning run. Paul LaDuca just 2 for 18 since the All-Star break. So Paulie ready to check in at the plate, and Travis Smith waiting for him. Travis is anything but big. The right-hander over the top with a big curveball, and he misses ball 1. He is 5'10", and he's lucky if he weighs 165 pounds. Travis working from the first base side of the rubber, and the right-hander deals 1-0, and that's a little low, ball 2. LaDuca started off and held up. So Paul LaDuca hitting .313, 5 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Sean Green on deck. In looking at what Travis Smith did, no Dodger hit well against him in the 6th inning. LaDuca takes low, ball 3. Green, Grassolonic, and Roberts had 1 hit. LaDuca and Beltre had 2 hits against him. Now the 3-0 pitch on the way. LaDuca takes a strike, and the count 3-1. Paul Schreiber, Matt Hollowell, Jim Reynolds, and Mark Hirschbeck. And Paul Schreiber behind the plate, you may remember it's rather touching. When he came up to umpire, he held an empty seat during his first game for his late mother in her memory. Nice touch. 3-1 pitch banged into left field for a base hit. So the Dodgers down 2-0 in the first inning. LaDuca line drive single to left, and the batter will be Shawn Green.
Batting third, number 15.
So Paulie, a shot into left field.
Shawn Green.
Shawn Green checking in with 27 home runs, 69 runs batted in, and LaDuca opens the door to give Green a chance to tie it up. Now Green not only has a little 5-game hitting streak, but he's hitting .429 during the homestand. So he certainly responded to the challenge provided by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Travis Smith out of his stretch, a look over at LaDuca, and the pitch to Green, that's low, ball 1. Travis Smith in 38 previous innings had given up 7 home runs. That's a little more, I guess, than 1 every 9 innings. So Shawn Green waiting. 2-0 St. Louis, first inning. Travis Smith ready and comes back. Line drive, base hit to center. LaDuca will stop at second. Boy, that bullet almost took the head off umpire Jim Reynolds. Reynolds had to get out of the way of it to make sure, and there wasn't a doubt about how far that ball was traveling. So Paul LaDuca said something, and that got a big grin from Reynolds, and you know it had to do with the line drive. So a solid single to left, a solid single to center, and the Dodgers now have the tying runs aboard, and the batter Brian Jordan. Green now has extended to 6 straight. Well, Jim Tracy has said it often enough. The hot hand hits behind Green, and right now Brian Jordan is a bit hotter than Eric Karras. So Jordan in the box, Karras on deck, 2 on, 1 out, first inning, 2-0 St. Louis. Out of a stretch goes Travis Smith, and the right-hander deals a strike, and the count 0-1. Jordan is certainly not the holder of a hot hand. In fact, if you match him and Karras, Karras is actually hitting better. Jordan during the homestand is hitting only 154, and Karras is hitting 231, so take your pick. Strike 1 pitch to Jordan is a ground ball to shortstop. They get 1 and they get 2. So if a guy hitting 154 is the hot hand, you're struggling. And the Dodgers are struggling. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. At the end of an inning, 2-0 St. Louis. A reminder, this Sunday is autograph day at Dodger Stadium before the 5-10 game with the Giants. All fans 14 and under can obtain an autograph from select Dodger players and coaches from 3 to 4 p.m. in Lot 32. That's Sunday at 5:10, and of course the series with Barry Bonds and company begins Friday night. Meanwhile, the Dodgers home, the kids are here, and a reminder, we certainly hope that if you make your plans to come out, you'll bring your children with you. And we go to the second inning, 2-0 St. Louis. Eli Marrero, Mike DeFelice, and Travis Smith. Omar Dahl delivers. That's hit in the air to right field. Going back to get it is Shawn Green. So Marrero hit it a pretty good distance, 1 out, and you still can't really say that Dahl has fooled anybody. So 1 down, and Mike DeFelice coming up. The Cardinals have won 7 of the last 10, and with a home run by Jim Edmonds in the first inning, they have now hit 23 home runs in their last 13 games. In fact, they have homered in 12 of the last 13 games. And the Cardinals came in here having fattened up against the San Diego Padres. They beat the Padres like a drum, 5 out of 6. The pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. For the St. Louis Cardinals, if you go back to the start of the 1999 season, they have beaten the San Diego Padres 26 out of 30 times. Here's the strike 1 pitch on the way, and that misses, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Mike DeFelice, hitting .237 with 3 home runs and 9 runs batted in. So the 2 teams that the Cardinals have really rolled over, the Padres and the Astros. DeFelice tries to hold up, and he can't for a strike, and the count 1-2. The Cardinals have beaten the Astros 9 out of 12. So they have two overwhelming records. Otherwise, they have pretty much struggled against everybody. And the team that they have to beat to win the Central Division, Tony La Russa knows, is Cincinnati, and they've won 7 out of 12 from the Reds. The pitch off the plate, and the count 2-2 to Mike DeFelice. J.D. Drew will not be able to play every day. They have to be careful with that knee. The 2-2 pitch is foul back. Walt Jocketty was quite surprised to read in the paper that J.D. Drew said he will probably have to have surgery after the season on the knee. And Jocketty said that's the first I've heard of that. 2-2 the count. DeFelice waiting. Dahl into the windup. Omar deals. Swung on late and missed. So DeFelice strikes out. 2 down in the second inning. And the batter will be Travis Smith.
Pitcher number
Travis
53.
has a batter.
Travis.
It's been a struggle. He is 2 for 12. The good thing for him, La Russa and company, he has only struck out 3 times in what turns out to be 13 plate appearances. So Travis Smith checking in. Omar Dahl working from the third base side of the rubber into the windup and deals, and the fastball hit in the air to right center. It's playable. Dave Roberts is there and puts it away. So the Cardinals out in order in the second inning, and at the end of an inning and a half, St. Louis 2 and the Dodgers nothing. The Dodgers are now offering season ticket packages for the second half of the season. Great seats still available on all levels, including the popular buy 2 get 2 free areas on the Loge and reserve levels for as little as $20 a game. These packages are only available for a limited time, so we would suggest you get a move on. Call 1-800-6-DODGER today. Moms and dads and kids, some of them brought their gloves, hoping hope against hope to get a foul ball. And little girls bouncing up and down in daddy's lap. It makes a great sight for the big league ball game. And the Dodgers hoping to provide their fans with a victory, but they're down 2-0 here in the second inning. Cardinals had Polanco double and Edmonds homer. Dodgers had 2 base hits in the first inning. Jordan hit into a double play. So Eric Karros the batter, and he takes off the plate. Ball 1, 1-0. Eric, as we mentioned earlier, hitting .231. That's 3 for 13 in the homestand. Takes a strike, and the count 1-1. So Karros, Beltre, and Grassolonic in that order. We talked at the very start of the game about May the 12th, how both the Cardinals and Dodgers were in third place. Karros takes outside, 2-1 the count. And for Tony La Russa and Jim Tracy, the difference has been pitching, as Karros fouls another one away. The Cardinals starting rotation through May 11 had the second worst earned run average in baseball. It was well over 5. From the 12th of May on, they had the second best mark in the majors, a little less than 3.5. And the Dodgers, from last year to this, have really changed, as Karros now has the count 3-2. Thanks to Kazushi and all of the others, the Dodgers went from 8th in the National League last year to 2nd in the league this year. And that was a good omen for their chances to qualify in the postseason. 3-2 pitch is low, so Karros is aboard. A little bit of a shaky start for Travis Smith, but he turned the ship around quickly against Jordan. Now we'll see what he does with Adrian Beltre. You know, when you look at the Dodger pitching, since the Dodgers moved into Dodger Stadium in 1962, they have finished first or second in National League ERA 26 of the 40 years. And in just about half of those 26 years, they've made the postseason. And pitching has been the reason. Beltre takes a strike, and the count 0-1. In the 14 years where they finished third or lower in ERA, they never reached the postseason. So the Dodgers slightly optimistic because of the pitching. But right now they saw Andy Ashby get turned around. They saw Odalis Perez get turned around. And they have seen Dahl get wrecked in St. Louis and roughed up tonight a little bit. Strike 1 pitch on the way is fouled on Beltre's foot. So timeout. Adrian trying to walk it off, and the count 0-2. We're in the bottom of the second inning. The Cardinals leading 2-0. Tomorrow, a 12-10 game. Andy Bennis will be activated against Hideo Nomo. And Andy Bennis will have a remarkable turnabout. You know, he's had an arthritic knee. He has pitched in the 7th inning only a couple of times in the minors. He was going to start on the 16th, and now they say he will definitely. Meanwhile, the pitch to Beltre down and away, and the count 1-2. After the Cardinals, and Nomo will continue his great pitching and try to keep it up tomorrow. Then San Diego will be here. Brian Lawrence and Odalis Perez, Brett Tomko, and Andy Ashby. The 1-2 pitch foul back. And then after the Padres, then the San Francisco Giants. They're just about underway up north. They're in the first inning. Bottom of the first, and no score. 1-2 to count Adrian Beltre. Out of a stretch goes Travis Smith. Right-handed deals, and Beltre pokes it wide to first. Perez goes down to his shortstop Renteria, and they get a force play. So Beltre struggling to stay in the 230s. He was hitting 235 as he hits into a force play. So one out. And the batter now, Mark Grassolonic. The Dodgers are hoping and praying that Beltre and Grassolonic will come alive with the bat. Both of them way off the feed, and Beltre is hitting less than 160 now in this homestand. Grassolonic is hitting only 143. So they are the silent duo at the bottom of the lineup. Travis Smith deals, and that's going to be slapped into right field. Beltre had to hold up for a moment, and now advances to second. So Grassolonic a base hit to right, and with one out in first and second, Cesar Izturis coming up. Now Izturis has been a solid player defensively and a very, very solid player batting right-handed. However, hitting only 204 left-handed, which means the bottom of the lineup has really been soft once you get Beltre, Grassolonic, Izturis, and the pitcher. Well, Beltre hit into the force play after the walk to Karras. Grassolonic a base hit, and here's young Izturis. Overall batting average 235. The pitch to him very high. Ball 1-0. So Travis Smith gave up 2 base hits and got away with it in the first inning. Now 2 on and 1 out in the second inning against Cesar Izturis. Smith out of his stretch, the right-hander at the belt. Back he comes very high with a changeup, and he missed by plenty. 2-0 the count. Travis with the wisp of a mustache and a little chin beard. That's about all you could call it. Alex Cora yesterday perhaps saved the Dodgers, leading 2-1 in the ninth. He made a remarkable play at shortstop to throw out the fleet-footed Tony Womack. And if Womack gets aboard, you just never know. But Cora made the play. He has done a tremendous job filling in for Izturis and Grassolonic. The 2-0 pitch is a line drive backhanded at third by Polanco, and the runners scurry back. So Polanco takes a possible extra base hit away from Izturis, and we have 2 down.
Omar.
So Polanco breaking sharply, reached up and just did backhand, left arm fully extended. Otherwise that would probably score 2. Instead, 2 down, and Omar Dahl at the plate. Omar Dahl trying to help his own cause. He is only 1 for 17. That was a double, and it meant a couple of RBIs. But again, he is a fellow who has struck out less than a third of the time, and for a pitcher that's not bad. Travis Smith, a look at the runners, comes to Dahl. It's in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. 2-0 St. Louis. Bottom of the second inning. Tomorrow's game, remember, at 12:10. Andy Bennis and Hideo Nomo. The strike 1 pitch on the way is hit foul off third out of play. The Cardinals figure that tomorrow, playing a 12:10 game, that'll be over at 3:10, let's say. That makes it 5:10 when they're taking off St. Louis time. They don't figure to get home till about 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and they leave at 6 p.m. the next day to go to Pittsburgh. So La Russa and the Cardinals have a tough schedule. Dahl swings and misses. The throw at first base was dug out of the dirt. The throw down to first in time. So the Dodgers leave 2 more, and at the end of 2, Cardinals 2, Dodgers nothing. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by your local Lexus dealer, by Aflac, ask about it at work, and by SBC, Infinite Character SBC. We're going to the 3rd inning, 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. At the Diamond Club, dinner is served. And down on the field, Omar Dahl looked like he was going to have his lunch handed to him when the Cardinals roughed him up for a couple of doubles and a home run. But he settled down. He's retired the last 5 in a row, and he cut his pitch total from 24 to 8. So we'll see how he goes in the 3rd inning. The Cardinals, since the 12th of May, have been just a little bit more successful than the Dodgers. Jim Edmonds and company, a percentage of .635, and the Dodgers .607. A shot by Vina foul. Cardinals 33-19, and the Dodgers 34-22. The top team since the 12th of May, the Atlanta Braves, who are winning 7 out of every 10 games they play. 0-1 to Fernando Vina. A drag bunt, foul back, 0-2. Fernando Vina has been hit 10 times this year, and that's no fun for anybody. But Vina, if you can possibly be accustomed to it, he has been hit 5 times in 7 years, at least 10 times a year. And he hits one in the air, back a third, down the line, a trio of Dodgers in foul ground, and it's going to land right behind the roller, and Beltre unable to get it. So 0-2 the count. For Fernando Vina, he's been with the Cardinals 2.5 years, and over that stretch he's been hit 60 times. Why? Well, he's hit 300 in his past 3 full major league seasons. Vina, the reigning Gold Glove second baseman. 1-2. When you ask him, are you prouder of the 300 or the Gold Glove, he said the glove. I take a lot of pride on my defensive work. He has a look. 2-2. So Fernando Vina, 5'9", 170-pounder, does a big job. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Is Turris playing him to the hole, and Vina rolls it up the middle. Well, up north with Rick Helling pitching, Reggie Sanders hit a scoring fly ball. David Bell tagged up and brought it in. So with 2 out in the first inning, the Giants are leading Arizona 1-0. Just to refresh your memory, the Dodgers are in first place by a half a game, and the Giants begin 2.5 games back. And you really get the feeling now the All-Star game is gone, and the Western Division is just really settling in for the hard work. Chopper to the right side. Grasselanics only play to Karras. So Placido Polanco goes the other way to move his long along, and that'll bring up Jim Edmonds. In the first inning, with Polanco aboard, Edmonds connected and hit his 18th home run of the year, the 5th home run that he's hit against left-handers. If you remember the game that Travis Smith pitched when the Dodgers were really sleepwalking after that terrible schedule, and they lost the game 3-2. They faced Travis Smith and he beat them 3-2. But in that game, Edmonds also started it off with a home run. He rolls to the right side for the second out, and Vigna advances to third. And then for Edmonds, after hitting the home run for Travis and St. Louis in that series, he struck out 9 times in the series. Well, Jim got a home run. This time he grounds out. And the batter will be Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols, as far as active major league hitters concerned, is a really clutch hitter. And when you talk about RBIs, you talk about Pujols. He takes ball 1. He averages an RBI a little more than every 4.5 at bats. Realize statistically, but you get the idea. The number 1 RBI man compared to average at bats, Manny Ramirez of the Boston Red Sox, and Pujols is right back of him. He's ahead of Juan Gonzalez, Todd Helton, and Lance Berkman. Pujols, an outstanding young player, rookie of the year last year. The 2-0 pitch, ball 3. So perhaps they don't really want any part of him, with Eduardo Perez on deck. Perez, by the way, came into the game hitting 167 against left-hand pitching. No, they didn't want him. So Pujols gets the walk. And with runners at first and third and 2 down, Jim Tracy's already pacing 2-0 St. Louis. And here comes Tony's boy, big Eduardo Perez. I think we all agree, as Tony's son, he is a very tough act to follow. 379 career home runs, and I believe over 1,400 RBIs. Perez playing for Tino Martinez. Fouled on his foot. 0-1. Tino Martinez is hitting 164 against left-hand pitching. So Perez gets a shot. Eduardo, big fella. There's Tino. He has been somewhat of a disappointment, hitting only 244, but he has 43 RBIs. If he winds up with about 85 RBIs, that would be, I think, what the Cardinals would hope to get from him. 0-1 the count to Eduardo Perez. Down at third, Fernando Vigna, 2 out. Over at first, Pujols. Foul back. 0-2. So Eduardo Perez trying to add to a 2-0 lead. Signed as a free agent to a minor league contract in February. Played in Japan last year. Off the plate. 1-2. Eduardo is 6'4", 215 pounds. He'll be 33 in September. So he's been trying to really make it big a long time. 1-2. 2-2. With a runner at third, we can tell you Dahl does not have a wild pitch. Cardinals 2, Dodgers 0. Vigna at third, Pujols at first. 2 out. Oh, deuces wild for Perez. Ball 3. 3-2. So Omar Dahl made 24 pitches in the first inning, cut that down to only 8 in the second, and he's made 17 pitches so far in this inning. Edgar Renteria on deck. So a big pitch. 3-2. Fastball hit in the air to right field. Green going back and picks it off, and that ball went a long way. But Dahl survives. No runs, a hit, 2 left at the end of 2.5 innings. Cardinals 2, Dodgers 0. A reminder, stay tuned after the game for highlights of all of today's sports action. We present the Southern California Sports Report. We'll have complete Dodger coverage and a whole lot more. The Southern California Sports Report coming up right after the game. Oh my goodness, there's our bonus baby for tonight, without a doubt. Yeah, we got some ladies and gentlemen here tonight, that's for sure. Oh yeah. Remember when, huh? How far back do you have to remember? Dave Roberts, Paul LaDuca, and Sean Green. Right. Roberts grounded out in the first inning. Cardinals shorten up. Both Perez and Polanco well in on the grass. One ball and one strike. Cardinals had Polanco double and Edmonds homer, and it's 2-0 St. Louis, bottom of the third. Off the plate, 2-1. Travis Smith came in with an ERA of almost 6, but a 2-0 record. That's a strike. 2-2 the count. Early in the year, Travis Smith pitched in relief. And against Arizona, he went 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. And at Montreal, went 5 innings and gave up 5 earned runs. So that's why his ERA is way out of sight, almost 6. But he has a record of 2-0. And that's going to be hit to right center and fall. So the Dodgers getting men aboard, if nothing else. They now have 4 hits and a walk. With a big play early in the game in the second inning, that backhanded effort by Placido Polanco. That might very well have been a double down the line, and a couple of runs brought in to tie it up. LaDuca lined a single to left in the first inning. And of course, just to give you an idea how sold the Dodgers are on LaDuca, 91 starts last year and already 77. Ball 1. Well, Arizona got a run to tie up that game. Top of the second inning up north. They're still hitting, and it's a 1-1 tie. Dave Roberts has stolen 21 out of 26. Yeah, LaDuca followed by Green and nobody out. Third inning. A good bluff, and the pitch missed. So 2-0 to Paul LaDuca. Well, with LaDuca, especially with his ability, knowledge of the strike zone, and the fact he doesn't strike out very often, you figure he's green lighted. At the same time, as a catcher, he has grounded into 13 double plays. Roberts not going, and there's a little pop fly. That's trouble. That's going to fall, and flying to third is Roberts. So Paul LaDuca just pushes a little fly ball into right field for a base hit. And the Dodgers now first and third, nobody out. You don't have to hit them hard. Oh, is it Willie Keeler said, hit him where they ain't. Well, there wasn't anybody in shallow right field. Roberts didn't have to go belly whopping, but he's accustomed to doing it. The Dry Cleaners of America are delighted with Dave's play. And the batter will be Sean Green. First and third, nobody out. 2-0 St. Louis. Green single to center in the first inning. He's hit in 6 straight. A little foul ball, 0-1. Green with Jordan on deck. Well, you can see how clean-shaven Shawn Green is. I mean, he really looked like Shakespeare's Cassius with a mean and hungry look, but now clean-shaven, he's back to looking like Shawn again. 1-1. That got away, and what it means is LaDuca goes to second base. So the tying runs are now in scoring position with nobody out. Travis bouncing it. DeFelice blocked it and then lost sight of it and kicked it with his left foot. So it was a good block, tough kick, and it'll be ruled a wild pitch. 1-1 to count to Shawn Green. And a little ground ball foul. 1-2. So Roberts back to third, LaDuca to second, and Green back to hitting. Shawn Green 1 for 1 tonight. So 7 for 15. About 450 at least. Earlier this year he had an 11-game hitting streak. He now has a 6-game streak. One and two. 2-2. In looking at Travis Smith's numbers coming into the game, 23 strikeouts and 14 walks. Two and two. Off speed fouled away. Another area for Travis Smith, including tonight, 40 innings, 46 hits. So he's pitched out of the stretch a lot. And of course, as a converted reliever, I guess he's accustomed to having men on. And tonight he has Roberts at third, LaDuca at second, and nobody out. Got him. So off speed, and Green badly fooled. He was looking fastball. That was a great call either by Mike DeFelice or Travis Smith, and Green way out in front of him. So that's a big out. It is also the second strikeout, and the batter now, Brian Jordan. So Jordan hit into a double play with 2 on in the first inning. Green strikes out with runners at second and third in the third, and the Dodgers struggling for the moment to get a run. Jordan having a tough homestand and a very tough month of July. And a little number. They have a play at the plate, and that'll do it for Roberts. So the Dodgers are going backwards. Second and third, and nobody out, and 2 outs later, first and third. So Jordan hit it right back to Travis, who went to DeFelice, and Roberts out easily. No contest.
First baseman number 23.
It is very early to really talk about pressure and the pennant race. But boy, you wait and see when you get down to the pressure-packed days in September. Teams always struggle for runs. This is a little too early to think about it, but the Dodgers are struggling. A pop fly with the bases loaded yesterday into shallow center, and a diving catch by McCracken, and the Dodgers got one. A broken bat by LaDuca got the other Dodger run in, and now tonight they're spinning their wheels. No runs, 5 hits, a walk, and a wild pitch, and they still haven't scored. And DeFelice, the veteran catcher, trying to nurse Travis Smith through it. Meanwhile, Omar Dahl roughed up at the very outset. Vina lined out to short, then Polanco doubled, and Edmonds homered. And the Dodgers have not recovered yet. It's 2-0 St. Louis, bottom of the third. So Karras runners at first and third, and 2 out. That's a strike. So Eric, a little annoyed, takes a walk. So Travis Smith in a jam in the first inning, got out of it. In a jam in the second inning, got out of it thanks to Polanco. And now almost out of a terrific jam here in the third. 1-1. Travis has been hit pretty hard by right-hand batters. 295 against him, and left-handers 270. 1-1. Ball 2, 2-1. So the ball in the dirt, they put a new one in play. Travis, no kid, 29 years old, and laboring. He's made 19 pitches in this inning and 50 in the game. And that's a strike. So LaDuca standing at third and Jordan at first. I mean, this has been an inning. Imagine Jim Tracy saw his club have runners at second and third and nobody out with Green, Jordan, and Karras. And now 2 outs later, here's Karras, and that hit him on the hand. So Karras hit by the pitch to load him up, and Adrian Beltre will be the batter. For Travis Smith, that's only the second man that he's hit this year. For Eric Karras, who I'm sure can tell you that'll be the 4th time that he's been nailed this year. So just to frustrate the Dodgers even more, they had second and third and nobody out. Now they have the bases loaded with 2 out, still have not scored, and trail the Cardinals 2-0. Here's Beltre, hit into a forced play in the second inning. Adrian started off in great style, 290, but it has really been downhill ever since. 4-1. Nice block by DeFelice. Beltre, if you are so inclined and you would like to know, has 2 grand slams in his career. 2 years ago, he hit one in Colorado. That's the last one. 1-0 the count, Adrian. And that's a ground ball to Renteria. He takes it to the bag. So the Dodgers have left 6 men in 3 innings. I mean, they are really on a treadmill to nowhere for the moment. And at the end of 3, Cardinals 2, Dodgers nothing. Cardinals leading the Dodgers 2-0 as we go to the 4th inning. And in order to protect the play and the lead, they've come up with 2 defensive gems. The first one, a backhanded grab by Polanco, and the other, the play at the plate from Travis Smith to Mike DeFelice on Roberts. So the Dodgers had 2 men on in the first inning, and Jordan hit into a double play. 2 men on in the second, and Polanco made his play. Bases loaded, and second and third with nobody out, and failed to score in the third. So the Cardinals still lead 2-0. Renteria, Marrero, and DeFelice. Right. Big slow curveball. 0-1. Renteria, a fly ball to deep left center field in his only at bat. Another slow curve, but he missed. Renteria had a 3-hit game yesterday in San Diego. He's had 4 3-hit games this year. Ball 2, 2-1. Up in San Francisco, David Bell doubled off the wall in the first inning and came around to score the tying run. He has just hit a 3-run home run against Rick Helling, who has given up more home runs than anybody else in the National League. And so right now, the Giants are leading Arizona 4-1, bottom of the second inning. 2-2. Fouled away. In this kind of a race, of course, the Giants, Dodgers, and D-backs figure to exchange places quite a bit. Like a 1.5-mile thoroughbred race. Early lead, somebody slip back and then make another charge. Fly ball down the right field line. Green was coming over, but he's going to run out of room. Tries to make room. No play. Still 2-2 the count to Edgar Renteria. Barry Bonds has had 2 appearances at home plate, and Rick Helling has walked him twice intentionally. Meanwhile, Dahl goes 3-2 to Renteria with Eli Marrero on deck. Way outside. So Marrero coming up. Here's our Aflac trivia question for the night. Albert Pujols, 130 RBIs last year, rookie record in the league. Who holds the major league record for RBIs by a rookie? You have any idea? Well, we'll dig out the answer in a little while. So Omar Dahl walks his second man. He's given up 4 hits and 2 runs. And that got off the mitt of LaDuca to the backstop. I'm not sure if he was crossed up or not. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, Paulie's going out there. That usually means something fooled him. And it went right off the glove. But he's gone out to say, wait a minute. Let me see. So he'll be charged with a pass ball. But you have an idea that Omar Dahl made the wrong pitch. In fact, Cesar Asturias, the shortstop, came in because he was expecting a different pitch. So they still will give LaDuca the pass ball, but you know Dahl messed up a little bit. All right, 1-0 the count to Marrero. Foul tip, 1-1. 2-0 St. Louis, top of the 4th. 4-1 Giants leading Arizona. Eli Marrero, boy, he sure has been valuable. Slider down and in, breaking ball, 2-1. When the Dodgers bat in the 4th inning, they'll have Grassolani, Asturias, and Dahl. Renteria at second, nobody out. And a bunt, so that moves his man over nicely. So on the sacrifice, Marrero gets Renteria to third. That'll leave it up to DeFelice.
Catch number 8.
Interesting, we mentioned a moment ago that Barry Bonds was walked intentionally in his first at bat, and he has now been walked intentionally in his second at bat. Barry Bonds has now received 41 intentional walks. The major league record, 45, by old number 44. No, not Henry Aaron. Willie McCovey, the big first baseman for the Giants back in 1969, who was an onlooker tonight. Ball 1. McCovey in a special box goes to just about every Giant night game. And Willie is in there watching Bonds get walked 2 more times. And he'll be walked a heck of a lot more before the year is over. All right, a runner at third, 1 out. The infield halfway up. We're watching Renteria, and so is Dahl, because you're wondering about DeFelice and whether they might squeeze. DeFelice has 1 sacrifice. Renteria runs well enough to have 10 stolen bases, so you're kind of looking squeeze here. Renteria not coming. And never mind squeeze, that is drilled. A 1 bouncer that hits the box seat. And going into second base is DeFelice with a double. Some squeeze. and it's 3-0 St. Louis. And that thing came within a foot, I think, of going into the seats. So Renteria scores. High fastball and not much on it. 85 mile an hour. Jordan didn't have a play, and the ball winds up hitting the box seat and actually touched by a wise guy. A fellow who should have allowed the ball to hit, and he leaned over and tried to glove it. It was in St. Louis, wasn't it, where we saw a ball and a couple of fans, and they were smart enough and respectful enough to take their gloves and hands out of the way and let the ball play. But here's a guy who just interfered. Foul ball. 0-1. They can make the announcement till they're blue in the face about please do not go after a ball in play. No one pays any attention. 0-1 the count. So DePolice at second with a ground rule double. Breaking ball strike. 0-2. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Cardinals. No runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Foul back. You know, it's amazing that foul ball hit a chair. Everybody in the area was looking under the chair, but it kicked all the way back to the Cardinal dugout, and they were still looking for the ball. It was in and out of there that quickly. And now they're saying, which way did it go? Well, it went that way. 1-2 the count. So Omar Dahl has given up 3 doubles and a home run. The Dodgers, meanwhile, spinning their wheels offensively, and it's 3-0 St. Louis in the 4th. Strike 3 called on Travis Smith. That's the second out, and the batter will be Fernando Vina. So the pass ball really is the key to the inning, and the pass ball probably, this is a long distance guess, was not LaDuca's fault. I have the feeling he was crossed up expecting one pitch and got another. The pass ball allowed Renteria to go to second, so then they sacrificed, and that led to the double. But without the pass ball, they play the inning totally different. Ball 1. Fernando lined out to short and single to center. One ball and no strikes to count. Out there at second, Mike DePolice. Ground ball to Grassolani. So Dahl gives up the run. 1 run, 1 hit. And the key to pass ball. And at the end of 3.5 innings, Cardinals 3, Dodgers 0. Remember the Aflac trivia question? Albert Pujols, 130 RBIs, a National League rookie record. Who holds the Major League record for RBIs by a rookie? And the answer, oh sure, Ted Williams. 145 RBIs in 1939. Talking about Ted today, pointing out the fact you may or may not know, you know, in 1941, when Ted Williams hit 406, the last man to hit 400, there was no such thing as a sacrifice fly ball. If you hit a fly ball, the run might score, but you're charged with a time at bat. Had they had the sacrifice fly rule back in 1941, Ted Williams would have batted .411 and not .406. That's how good he was. 1 ball and no strikes to Mark Grassolani. And slices it to right, and it's a base hit. So Grassolani has gone the other way twice. He is 2 for 2. And the Dodgers are not being fooled by Travis Smith. They just can't move people around. They now have 6 hits in 3 innings plus, and Zippo. Turris had the big at bat, 2 on and 1 out in the 2nd inning. Hit a line drive, and a backhand grab by Polanco took a double and maybe 2 RBIs away from him. Right. 0-1. Dodgers frustrating themselves and their fans up to now. 3 of the 4 innings, the Dodgers have gotten the leadoff man aboard. And a high chopper to Renteria. They get 1, but not 2. So 1 out, and Omar Dahl coming up. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Dodgers may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express consent of the Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers have left 6 men on base in the first 3 innings. With 1 out, they might ask Dahl to sacrifice and just try to get a run, and that's what they're going to do. Got it down. DeFelice goes to first. To Perez. So the Dodgers had LaDuca at second in the first inning. Beltre at second in the second inning. They had LaDuca at second and Roberts at third in the third inning. And still nothing to show for it. Dave Roberts will take some time to let Dahl get back. Dahl, by the way, has made 71 pitches, so he could use a little breather. Did his job, moved his man along with the sacrifice. So here's Roberts. Grounded out. Single to center. Trying to pick up his Turris from second base. 3-0 St. Louis. 4-1 Giants leading Arizona. Give you an idea, if the Dodgers lose, the Giants would be a game and a half back. Just 3 teams really knotted up. And a reminder, the Giants will be here Friday night, the 19th, Saturday afternoon, the 20th, and then at 5:10 on Sunday, the 21st. Well, the Dodgers had better not look too far to the Giants, because San Diego comes in, and they always seem to play well against the Dodgers. That's a strike. 0-2. Dodgers have played 7 games against the Padres. Dodgers have won 4 and the Padres 3. They always give them fits. Turris at second, 2 out. 0-2 to Dave Roberts. Ball 1. '29-year-old Travis Smith, following Bud Smith, who pitched very well in San Diego, the site of Bud's no-hitter last year. Little ground ball to Perez. Eduardo will do it. So the Dodgers leave another. They have left 7 men in 4 innings, and at the end of 4, Cardinals 3, Dodgers nothing. Well, here's the homestand. The Cardinals tomorrow at 12:10. San Diego Wednesday and Thursday nights. Tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday on Fox Sports Net 2. Barry Bonds and Company Friday night on UPN 13. Big Fox Channel 11 Saturday afternoon, and exclusively on radio. Fox Sports AM 1150 with Ross Porter and Rick Monday, and on KWKW 1330 AM, Jaime Jarrín and Pepe Iniguez. Then the Dodgers go out on the road. Here's Polanco. Strike. Dodger road trip will take them to San Diego, San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia. 0-1 to Polanco. 1-1. JT Snow has just hit a home run. It's 5-1 Giants. It's not as if the Giants have been playing great ball. They've won 6 out of 10. But the division is just tightening up. Hard ground ball. Stopped by Grassolonic to get him. Polanco losing a base hit on a nice play by Mark Grassolonic. Ball hit hard.
Number 15.
And Grassolonic
Jim Edmonds.
throwing him out. One of the tough things the Dodgers have in looking at the schedule, we talked about after the Giants series. They go to San Diego, San Francisco, then they go way east, Cincinnati, and then Philadelphia. Curveball to Grassolonic. 2 out. The Dodgers come home from Philadelphia, play Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and turn right around and go all the way back to the East Coast again and play Montreal and New York.
Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols coming up. The Dodger break in the schedule, if it really gets down to it. They are home from August the 20th through the 28th, and they're home again from September 16th to the end of the season with a 3-game visit to San Diego. So that part is a break. But there are tough days ahead for all 3 teams. 0-1 to Pujols. Albert doubled in the first inning and walked in the third. What a rookie year. Hit over 300, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, and 100 runs scored. Only the 4th major league rookie ever to have that kind of a year. 2-1. Big roller down to Beltre. So they get Pujols, and for Dahl, an easy inning thanks to that stop by Grassolonic. And at the end of 4 1/2, 3-0 Cardinals. Say a reminder, friends, on Friday at 7:10, the Dodgers hosting the Giants to begin a 3-game weekend series. And all fans in attendance will receive a free set of Dodger Wiggle Sticks, compliments of Sport Chalet. Well, hello there, darling. Despite all the humidity, the curl stayed in her hair. And holding a baseball and dreaming, huh? They're all over the ballpark, thank goodness. And we go to the 5th. And LaDuca, a fly ball to right field. The Foley single to left, single to right, and flies out. That is the 2nd time in 5 innings that Travis Smith was able to get the leadoff man, and the batter is Sean Green. Green really summed up the Dodger frustration. He had a base hit in the first inning, but Jordan hit into a double play. Sean came up 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. And Travis Smith not only pitched to him, but struck him out. Fouled away, 0-1. One and 1 to Sean. 1 out, 5th inning, 3-0 Cardinals. And a little roller to Pena. And all of a sudden, Travis Smith retires 2 in a row, and that's news.
Left fielder number 33, Ryan Jordan.
Ryan Jordan hit into a double play. and then hit the ball back to Travis, who threw to the plate to get Dave Roberts. Three runs, 5 hits for St. Louis, no runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, who have left 7 men in the first 4 innings. Strike. So Jordan, who's usually a first ball fastball hitter, came up and took a strike on a fastball in the first inning and then hit into a double play. Now he takes a fastball for a strike. 0-1. Now he takes another one. 0-2. And these are fastballs that are 87, 86 on the gun. Ball 1. '29-year-old Travis Smith, 2-0, trying to win his first game away from Busch Stadium. Fastball, and it's hit to Renteria. So the only happy thing for the Dodger fans, the Dodgers did not leave anybody on base, and it's still 3-0 St. Louis. July the 15th, go way back to 1955. The Dodgers were playing the Cardinals in Ebbets Field. Don Newcomb, the pitcher, hit his 6th home run of the year. Newcomb hit 7 home runs the year the Dodgers won the World Championship in Brooklyn. What a year he had. He not only hit 7 home runs, he batted .359 with 23 RBIs. Also on this day, 40 years later, Hideo Nomo won his 7th in a row. Let's go back to our game. Cardinals leading 3-0 as we go to the 6th. Eduardo Perez, followed by Edgar Renteria, and then Eli Marrero. Cardinals scored twice in the first inning. Polanco doubled and Edmonds homered, and they added another in the 4th, a walk, a wide pass ball, then a sacrifice, and DeFelice a double. Ball 1. One and 1. Going into the inning, Dahl had made 70 pitches. And a high fly ball into left center. Roberts and Jordan to the wall. Roberts leaps in the air and did not catch it. And he was held up. Brian Jordan making sure it didn't fall. So Omar Dahl serves up the home run to Perez, and it is 4-0 St. Louis. Dahl came in here with a record of 7-4, but as we mentioned, he was successful as a reliever, but not as a starter. Ball just getting over the wall. Roberts tried to time it, but couldn't get to it. Missed it by about a foot. Strike to Renteria. So Perez, a 3rd straight game with a home run. He has 6 this year. And in the last 13 games, the Cardinals have hit 24 home runs. And they've homered in 12 of the 13. And there's a drive down the left field line, foul. 1-2. So Dahl was 2-0 with an earned run average of less than 1 as a reliever. Wanted to start, got his chance, and he's 5-4 with an earned run average over 6, and he's down 4-0 tonight. 2-2. Eduardo Perez. Dad will be happy to hear the news. 2-2. Meanwhile, Jim Edmonds got them started with a home run. So the Cardinals have hit 95 home runs this year. Compare that to the Dodgers. They have hit 89. And for Travis Smith, He has worked his way through a mess of jams and finally in the 5th inning retired the side in order. 2-2. Comebacker. So Renteria to Dahl, 1 out.
Right fielder,
Out
number
there
26,
in the right field
Eli
pavilion,
Marrero.
what it says, we came from 27 countries for this game. This game, yeah. Well, good for you. Welcome. Eli Marrero flied to right and sacrificed 0 for 1. Ground ball to his Turris. 2 down. Mike DeFelice will be coming up. Remember, the Dodgers offering season ticket packages for the second half. Great seats available on all levels, including the popular buy 2 get 2 free areas on the Loge and reserve levels. You can take advantage of that for $20 a game. These packages only available for a limited time. So call 1-800-6-DODGER today. Check our website at Dodgers.com and bring a seat belt and a hard hat, because it looks like it's going to be some kind of race. Ball 1. The Giants are winning 5-1 in the 4th inning. Dodgers are losing 4-0. So it could be, when it's over, the Giants might be a game and a half out of first place, and the Dodgers would stay a half a game in front of Arizona. But it is getting tougher by the day, and we're only in July. July 15th. Ball 3. Mike DeFelice struck out in the 2nd inning. We were wondering if La Russa might squeeze with him in the 4th, and he answered that as he doubled the left field. Right. 3-1 to Mike. And that's back of the bag. Nice play by Beltre to throw him out. However, a leadoff home run by Eduardo Perez. And the big guy unloads. Roberts unable to glove it. And we've got 5.5 innings in the books, and it's all St. Louis 4-0. Cardinals leading the Dodgers 4-0, bottom of the 6th inning. On the scoreboard, the Giants having their way against Arizona, leading 5-1. David Bell, a 3-run home run, is 14. Colorado leading San Diego. Philadelphia polished off Montreal. The Mets, wearing their old 1986 uniforms, defeated Florida 8-3. The Cubs over Atlanta 3-2. Cincinnati knocked off Milwaukee's 2-0, and Pittsburgh upended Houston 5-4. Leading 4-0 in the 6th inning, La Russa shores up the defense, and Tino Martinez will take over at first base for Eduardo Perez. So Martinez, left-hand hitter, didn't start against Dahl, but is in there now for his glove. Eric Karras starting at the Dodgers, and grounds one up the middle, base hit. For the Dodgers, 7 hits and nothing to show for it. And it also means 4 of the 6 innings, the Dodger leadoff man has got the board.
29.
So they are really frustrating themselves. And here's Beltre with a runner at first and nobody out. Adrian hit into a force play. Came up with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning and hit into a force play. 0 for 2. Hitting less than 200 at Dodger Stadium this year. Oh, and 1. So Beltre 0 for 2 tonight. That means he is 2 for 14 during the current homestand. It had really been a struggle for the young man. A high fly ball into left field. Pujols to the track at the wall. Stretches up. Can't get it. Adrian Beltre just does clear the left field wall, and Albert Pujols' glove, and the Dodgers get back in the game. Cardinals 4, Dodgers 2, and Beltre getting a warm standing room ovation. So I'm sure the crowd knows he's struggling. He's trying as hard as he can, and they're trying to help him out a little bit. So Beltre hits his 9th home run, and it's 4-2 in favor of St. Louis. Boy, he went down to get it. That thing was almost in the dirt, and he hits it out. Now Dave Duncan going out. Watch Pujols try to time his leap. Now he's starting to come down. The ball hits the very top and stayed over the fence. So Beltre barely gets it over, but it got over. Did that hit the glove? Take another look. Yeah, maybe the edge of the glove. So that close to an out, and instead a home run. Shades of LaDuca's ball against Arizona when Luis Gonzalez went up against the wall and caught it. All right, 4-2 St. Louis. Rasolanik has gone the other way twice. Meanwhile, Jim Tracy trying to cheer up and instruct and pep up Adrian Beltre. Giovanni Carrara in the pen. Four runs, 6 hits for the Cardinals, 2 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. Iram Bocachica, Alex Cora with batted hand. Dodger pinch hitters, and we might see one in the inning. Dodger pinch hitters have been very, very successful. Jordan is explaining to Beltre, I think, how close Pujols came to catching that. Hard ground ball up the middle. Rasolanik's 3rd hit. The mark is 3 for 3. And on a night that sees Rasolanik go 3 for 3 and Beltre hit a 2-run home run, that has to pep up the ball club a little bit. Two fellas who have really been struggling. And now Cesar Izturis. Meanwhile, Dave Duncan on the phone. Mike Matthews, the left-hander, has been down in the pen. So they're getting him ready if and when the Dodgers hit for Dahl. And a big chopper to Martinez after the front man and got him. Nice defensive play by Tino. So Izturis hits into the force plate, 3-6. And it will be Iram Bocachica, who had a pinch hit home run just the other day. The Dodger pinch hitters lead the National League. The Dodger pinch hitters are batting .281.
Number 26.
They're only one of 3 teams in the league pinch hitting over .250. Iram Bocachica has 2 pinch hit home runs. And Omar Dahl is done for the night. 2-run home run in the 1st, home run in the 6th, and in between, DeFelice's double to score Renteria. So the Dodgers trying to catch up for him now, and Bocachica at the plate. Andy Ashby chatting. He'll be pitching game 2 against San Diego. That's a strike. Bocachica hitting .263 with 4 RBIs coming off the bench. He's 5 for 19. Overall average since he has started, .222. With a total of 4 home runs, 9 RBIs. So Travis Smith has been in some trouble in 5 of the 6 innings, but he's still leading 4-2. That's a strike. So Adrian Beltre, 0 for 2, unloads a 2-run home run to get the Dodgers back in the game. Eduardo Perez hit a home run in the 6th inning with the bases empty. Jim Edmonds hit a home run in the 1st inning with a man aboard. 1-2 to Boca Chica. And a drive to the gap on the dead run is Pujols to make the catch. So Boca Chica hits it right on the button, but a line drive at Pujols. So is Torres holding at first with 2 outs, and a manager certainly couldn't ask for more from a pinch hitter to come off the bench and hit the ball on the button. So 2 down, and is Torres waiting to be picked up at first base, but Tony La Russa is now going to go to Matthews. So Dave Roberts was 1 for 3, and we'll see if that means he's coming out. Marquise Grissom holding a helmet in the far corner of the Dodger dugout, and Roberts is being called back, and Marquise is getting ready. So Matthews coming in to face Grissom, and we'll be back right after this. Travis didn't make it to 6 innings when he allowed only 1 earned run. Tonight he had to work a lot harder. He went 5 2/3 and is charged with 2 runs, but can't lose because he has only 1 other runner his responsibility. Now Mike Matthews is brought in, and you thought that the Dodgers would counter the move with Grissom. Matthews against a left-handed batter. The lefties are hitting 170 against him. Right-handers are hitting about 260 against him. But the Dodgers stay with Roberts with 2 out. So Marquise Grissom, who appeared to be getting ready, stays in the dugout. Roberts has grounded out, single, grounded out again. And with 2 out, we will see, and I'll tell you what they might be thinking. They might very well run his Torres here. That's a strike. Matthews doesn't figure to pitch too long. They're backing him up in the bullpen. His Torres might go. If they get him, then you start the next inning with Roberts, and they might also hit from Matthews. He's leading off, and there he goes, sure enough, and the throw down not in time. So that figured. You just knew that under these circumstances they would run his Torres. I'm a little surprised that the Cardinals didn't pitch out, but they didn't. And his Torres steals it. So now his Torres out there, and Roberts trying to pick him up. It's 4-2 Cardinals. His Torres' 7th steal. Breaking ball on the corner, 1-2. So Travis can only win, so he's in a comfortable position. 1-2 to Dave Roberts. Line drive, base hit, so it paid. Here comes this Torres. Edmonds throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. A great throw by Jim Edmonds, the Gold Glover. Edmonds greeted by every member of the team. Jim Tracy arguing with the plate umpire, but what a throw. A trolley wire right on the money, and the tag. Watch and see the tag on the back. We'll never know. You could see the right foot on home plate, but from that angle you don't know when the police tagged him. However, the plate umpire Paul Schreiber said out, and the Dodgers thoroughly frustrated at the end of 6, 4-2 St. Louis. Four to 2 St. Louis. We have the luxury of the slow motion camera. Number 1 is Torres will not get his foot on home plate. Even though LaDuca telling him to get down, he got down, but the tag on the back, look at the left foot. See it rise in the air, and by the time the right foot got across the plate, he'd already been tagged on the back by Mike DeFelice. So a big play, Jim Edmonds to Mike DeFelice, and the Dodgers lose what appeared to be a certain run. So the Cardinals holding on to a 4-2 lead. Kerry Robinson will bat for Mike Matthews, and Giovanni Carrara will be the new Dodger pitcher. So that figured that's why the Dodgers ran his tourists in the first place. They knew they were going to bat for Matthews, and that Roberts staying in the game would see a right-hand pitcher. And then everything went the Dodgers' way. Roberts got the base hit, but they didn't count on that tremendous throw by Jim Edmonds and the great block by Mike DeFelice. Thanks a lot for that, Mike. 1 out. And the batter will be Fernando Vina. Vina lined out, singled and grounded out. Ball 1. Virginia hitting .274, but Fernando still has a long time to hit .300. That's foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's a wonderful player, and the more you see the Cardinals, you more realize what a tremendous job he turns in. A Gold Glove second baseman who can hit .300. Amazing. Fly ball to center. Roberts is there. So Carrara comes in and gets 2 out, and the batter now will be Placido Polanco.
Number 27, Placido Polanco.
For the Dodgers, they have to shake themselves to get over the feeling that the whole world is soured against them. There were the catches by Luis Gonzalez, the catch by Quinton McCracken, the bad call 3 different times in the games with Arizona. Now the out at the plate, although it was a great throw, a great block, and a fine tag. And they just have to fight their way through it. 1-0 to Polanco. Hard ground ball into the glove of Beltre. So Carrara comes in, sets him down. 6 in a row retired after Perez home run. And at the end of 6 and a half, 4-2 St. Louis. Now for a sports update, let's go to the Fox Sports Net studio.
For the traditional 7th-inning stretch to be.
Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz dealers at Southern California and by Pennzoil. We're driving protection. How about that baby with the bib and a little dribble and not knowing what's going on? Well, he'll grow to learn. We're going to the 7th inning, 4-2 in favor of St. Louis. Mike Timlin, a man who, what's that old line, gives up walks as he would give up a tattoo. He has always had wonderful control. He has struck out 30 and walked 6, 2 of the 6 intentionally. So really, his strikeouts is better than 7-1 strikeouts and walks. Really 4 walks against 30 Ks. Tremendous. So Timlin will be pitching to LaDuca, Green, and Jordan. And if anybody gets on, Karras. Dodgers have 10 hits. They've had a man thrown out at the plate. They had 2nd and 3rd and nobody out and failed to score. And with all of it, they have only 2 runs. LaDuca 2 for 3. And a blessed beach ball out on the field. Down in the bullpen, Jason Isringhausen just stretching out, throwing against the wall, the closer. And he's been a good closer. He has 21 saves. Right. LaDuca batting .317. Well, the Cardinals 4 runs and 6 hits. They've had 2 home runs and a couple of doubles, 3. So of their 6 hits, 5 of the 6 extra bases. Dodgers with 10 hits, 1 home run, and 9 singles. Brian Jordan hitting behind Green, who's on deck. Jordan 0 for 3 with men on base. He had 2 big chances, looking for a third. And that's going to be sliced to right, but coming up is Marrero to make the catch.
Right fielder.
So Eli Marrero makes the play in right field. Jim Edmonds comes over to talk about Gold Glove. Probably lost it in the lights and had to get down and get under the bank of lights off third base. So that's a nice play. 1 out. Shawn Green, like most of the Dodgers, has had a big opportunity tonight. Second and third, nobody out in the 3rd inning, struck out. Singled in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 5th. 4-1. Timlin and Green. Shawn is 2 for 3 with a home run against him. Little chopper foul and a check of the bat by Green. 1-1. Remember, tomorrow it's a 12-10 game. Andy Benes and Hideo Nomo. Then San Diego will come in. Ryan Lawrence and Odalis Perez, followed by Brett Tomko and Andy Ashby, and then the Giants. 1-2. Giants are still leading. It's 5-2 in the 5th inning with 2 out. The Giants at bat. Green hitting .287. 2-2 the count. Timlin, good sinker, and it's hit foul down the line. Mike Timlin, 36 years old, out of Texas, working on Shawn Green. Mike appeared in over 60 games last year. Basically a setup man. They gave him 7 save opportunities, but he blew 4 of them. So they went out and got Isringhausen to be their main closer. But along with Timlin, they have Dave Veers down there. They've used Matthews. They have Steve Klein. So the bullpen extremely important to La Russa and for La Russa. 3-2. And a drive to left, but Pujols plays him deep and makes the catch on the warning track. So Shawn Green, a long out to left field, 2 down in the 7th. 4-2 St. Louis, and Brian Jordan the batter. Brian struggling, 1st and 2nd and 1 out in the 1st inning, and hit into a double play. Came up with the 2nd and 3rd in the 3rd inning and 1 out. Hit the ball back to the box, and Travis Smith threw to the plate to get Roberts. Brian batting .267. Jordan has 2 hits in 16 at-bats during the homestand. It would belie the statement by Jim Tracy, whoever has the hot hand hits behind green, because there isn't any way, shape, or form that you could say Brian Jordan holds the hot hand. But Eric Karros during the homestand has 3 for 13. Now he is 4 for 13, having walked and hit by a pitch. 1-2 the count to Brian Jordan. Roberts, Green, and his tourists all frustrated in the Dodger dugout. 1-2. Two and two. Pretty good fastball in the mid-90s, and had a little movement right at the end. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And down goes Jordan. A long night for him. So at the end of 7, it remains Cardinals 4 and the Dodgers 2.
Number 15, center fielder.
4-2 in favor of the Cardinals. Game 1 of a very brief 2-game series. Tomorrow, Andy Bennis, who will be activated for the game, and Hideo Nomo. Remember, that's a 12-10 game right here on Fox Sports Net 2. Then San Diego and San Francisco. The Giants are leading 5-2 in the 7th inning. Make it the 6th up there. And we go to the 8th. Carrara pitching to Edmonds, Pujols, and then Martinez. Foul ball, 0-1. So Edmonds has certainly been the standout player on the field. He had a 2-run home run in the 1st inning and made a magnificent throw to nail Asturias at the plate on Roberts' base hit in the 6th inning. 0-1. Edmonds batting .318. He's not 100%. That wrist, they tell me, is still bothering him, but he's able to still go up there and do damage. 0-2. One and two. Giovanni Carrara picking up the pieces for Omar Dahl. 1-2. For Jim Edmonds, by the way, when he threw Asturias out of the plate, that was his 8th assist this year. Two and two. Just off the corner. So Edmonds, with that uppercut swing, comes up empty this time. 1 out. Don't forget, the Dodgers hosting the Giants on the weekend, and Saturday at 1:10. All fans in attendance receive a free Dodgers foam finger, compliments of Adelphia. Albert Pujols double walked and grounded out. Pujols 1 for 4 against Carrara. It was a 3-run home run. just starting, and look at him. What a player. That's a strike. 1-1. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 8th inning, Karras, Beltre, Grassolani. Beltre with a 2-run home run to get the Dodgers on the board in the 6th inning. 1-2. On deck, Tino Martinez. Two balls and 2 strikes to Albert Pujols. The Dodger pitching has improved dramatically since the 4th inning. They've allowed only 1 hit, but that hit was a home run by Eduardo Perez. The last 7 in a row retired, and 6 in a row retired before the home run. Well, that's 13 out of 14, but the one miss was a big one. Ground ball to his turret in the dirt. Nice pick by Eric Karras. 2 down in the 8th inning.
Number 21.
And Tino Martinez coming up.
Martinez.
Tino coming over from the Yankees, and he has been I guess you would say a disappointment. Hitting only .244, and part of that, I'm sure, inexperience and knowledge after spending 12 years in the American League. 34 years old. Tino will be 35 in December. From Tampa, Florida. Last year with the Yankees, he had 34 home runs, 113 runs batted in. He was 2nd in the league in fielding. That's another thing they wanted, and they've gotten. 1-1. The one thing about Tino Martinez, he is without a doubt one of the slowest running players in the game. He is 0 for 2 in stolen bases, and you're not going to expect him to do any running at all on the bases, but he can play. Little fly ball coming in a hurry as Roberts makes a diving catch. Oh, what a play. Dave Roberts coming from nowhere. Took an eye to look and see where Grassolani was, and lucky he didn't bite his tongue, and makes the play. Great catch. And at the end of 7.5, 4-2, St. Louis. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box, by MGD Cold Filtered for a pure beer, by your Southern California BMW Center, by Southwest Airlines, and by Buick. It's all good. On a beautiful night here in Los Angeles, it was 74 degrees at the start of the ball game. It is 4-2 in favor of the Cardinals before 31,899. 31,899. And they have seen the Dodgers frustrate themselves with 2 runs on 10 hits. So 4-2 St. Louis with Eric Karras, Adrian Beltre, and Mark Grassolani. First ball, ground ball to Polanco. And just like that, Karras is gone, 1 out.
Third baseman, number 29.
Adrian Beltre hit into a force play in the 2nd inning, hit into a force play with the bases loaded in the 3rd, and then hit a 2-run home run in the 6th. Beltre with Grassolani on deck. That's a strike. Oh, and 1. Mike Timlin has allowed 8 home runs in 53 innings. Fouled away, 1-2 the count. Andy Bennis, Hideo Nomo tomorrow at 12:10. Giants leading 5-2, 6th inning. Oh, great. Is that a sight? Christmas morning comes the 15th of July. That's great. Little fives. 2-2 to Adrian Beltre. Adrian's still there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. If they get down to Carrara's spot, naturally they'll go for a hitter. And down in the Dodger bullpen, starting to loosen up, heat up the right arm, Paul Quantrill. But they still have a ways to go after Beltre, Grassolonic, and then his tourist. But Dave Hansen at the ready, Alex Cora at the ready. And down goes Beltre. So Timlin takes care of him with a pitch up. And the batter now will be Mark Grassolani. Remember, the home run was almost in the dirt. It was certainly well below the knees, and Beltre went down to get it. So Timlin said, well, try it upstairs, and struck him out. Grassolani twice single to right and to center. 4-2 St. Louis, bottom of the 8th. And a little ground ball to Renteria. Edgar kind of double clutched. Got him anyway. So the Dodgers are running out of innings at the end of 8. The Cardinals 4, the Dodgers 2.
Number 3, shortstop, Edgar Renteria.
We're going to the 9th inning, 4-2 in favor of St. Louis. And the Cardinals have done it with the bat. The home run by Edmonds. It was also a home run by Perez, a clutch double by DeFelice. The Dodgers 2-run home run by Adrian Beltre. And there were 2 brilliant defensive plays by the Cardinals. Placido Polanco backhanding the line drive that saved 2 runs in the 2nd inning. And then the throw to the plate from Jim Edmonds to nip Izturis in the 6th inning. So with all of that behind us, Paul Quantrill is now pitching the 9th inning to Edgar Renteria. Quantrill coming in 1-3 in his 49th game. Ground ball to Grassolani. 1 away. If you wonder about the Dodgers in the 9th inning, they have Cesar Izturis. And then they have Quantrill's spot, followed by Roberts.
Right fielder.
Klein was throwing in the pen, but Isringhausen, the closer, is getting ready. If the Dodgers hit against Isringhausen, they still have Hansen and Cora, left-handed bats, along with Grissom, Rebele, and Kruder, who's a switch hitter. Ball 1. Eli Marrero flied to right, sacrificed, grounded to short, and made a good catch on the ball that LaDuca hit in the 7th inning that appeared to be in the lights. And he dropped to his knees to make the catch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball 2. Marrero batting .264. Big bounce to Beltre. So again, you look at this ball game and you realize the Cardinals scored 2 runs in the 1st inning. and scored another run in the fourth. Since the fourth inning, they've had one hit, but it was a big hit. It was a home run by Perez with the bases empty. But it means 5 were retired in order before the home run, and everyone since, as J.D. Drew comes up to bat for DePolice. And Marrero will probably put on the gear and catch the 9th inning. So after the home run, 11 in a row have been retired. Small consolation to the Dodgers. Drew with a bad knee. Miguel Cairo is out on deck. Drew hitting .267, 12 home runs, 35 runs batted in. Finally came off the DL and played briefly in San Diego and hit a home run against Bobby Jones. He has tendinitis of the right knee. Right, 2-2. There was some rumors in St. Louis, and only rumors, that management was somewhat dissatisfied by Drew's, quote, lackadaisical play. We certainly don't know anything about that. But they were saying that his name has been brought up several times in possible trades. Well, anyway, J.D. pops it up to his tourist, and at the end of 8.5 innings, Cardinals 4, Dodgers 2. Reminder, stay tuned after the game for highlights of all of today's sports action. We present the Southern California Sports Report. We'll have complete Dodger coverage and a whole lot more. The Southern California Sports Report coming up right after the game. Jason Isringhausen. He'll be 30 in September, and J.D. Drew enter the game at the same time. Drew, who batted, stays in the number 8 spot. Eli Marrero, who had been in right field, moves back to put on the gear and go behind the plate. And Jason Isringhausen on the mound. 29 years old. He'll be 30 in September. Signed a 4-year, $27 million deal as the closer, and has come up with 21 saves so far. So Isringhausen will be pitching to Izturis, Hansen, and Roberts, and make it Cora leading off for Izturis. That's a strike. Cora, who has made great contributions throughout the first part of the year, hitting .283. He has a home run and 3 RBIs coming off the bench, and has handled himself very well in the field, whether he's playing second base or shortstop. Only made 3 errors this year. So Cora, then Hansen and Roberts. One and one. Ground ball, base hit. Cora has done it again. Wow. He's hitting .333, 9 for 27 coming off the bench. Remarkable. One of the big reasons why the Dodgers lead the major leagues in pinch hitting. He has just been phenomenal. And now batting for Quantrill, Dave Hansen. Hansen, the third Dodger pinch hitter. Boca Chica lined out to left. Cora singles to right. Gives the Dodgers 2 runs, 11 hits. The Cardinals have 4 runs on 6 hits. That's a strike. Hansen 1 for 5 in the past against Isringhausen. Isringhausen is a workhorse. He thrives on work. last year with Oakland. In fact, last year at one stretch he pitched in 8 out of 10 days. He throws his fastball anywhere from 94 to 97. Very good curveball. 1-1. Ball 2. 97 on the gun. Hansen with 106 career hits as a Dodger. Dave Roberts on deck. 2-1. A strike. 2-2. Cora at first, nobody out. And that's slapped down the left field line, slicing as it goes foul. Hansen off the bench had a base hit in the St. Louis series in Busch Stadium. Dodgers trying to come from behind. They have not been a good come from behind team. There aren't very many good come from behind teams in this day and age of great closers. 2-2. And a comebacker. And a bad throw gives the Dodgers life. What would probably have been a double play ball is an error, and the Dodgers now have the tying runs aboard with nobody out. Alex Cora at second, Dave Hansen at first. Isringhausen throwing low. Renteria coming over the handle and couldn't make the play.
Dave Roberts.
There's the comebacker, and now a double clutch it appeared, and he throws it behind Renteria. It was finally backed up by Vina. And Tony La Russa going out to the mound. There'll be an error charge to Isringhausen, of course. And let's see what La Russa decides. Roberts, of course, you figure would be asked to bunt with LaDuca and Green hitting back of him. Left-hander Steve Klein is in the pen, but Isringhausen is his closer. So they would probably get Klein ready if the situation warranted it to come in to pitch to Green. Just to look ahead, Klein and Green. Green is 1 for 7. Well, there's a lot to go before that might happen. And here's Roberts. So everybody in the house looking bunt. Roberts has 3 sacrifices. He is 2 for 4 tonight. Shows bunt, and it's ball 1. All night long the Dodgers have had opportunities, and all night long they have squandered them. And now one last chance. Cora at second, Hansen at first is the possible tying run. The bunt in the air and caught by Polanco. So Roberts unable to get it down. That's a huge out. And the batter, Paul LaDuca.
Catcher number 16, Paul LaDuca.
So that might change things a little bit if Roberts had moved the runners up. You would have had first base open, and La Russa then would have the thought of, what do I do with LaDuca, the possible winning run? But instead, that worry is gone for Tony. Roberts unable to get it down, and the batter is LaDuca. LaDuca single to left, single to right, twice flied to right. Checking the pass, Isringhausen and LaDuca. Foley is 1 for 3 against him. Outfield fanned out straight away. A strike. Throwing hard, Isringhausen throwing 97. Isringhausen last year had 34 saves, so he's been through the mill. On 1 time. No pitch. No pitch. When Isringhausen was in college, he was at Lewis and Clark College. He was a center fielder. When time was called, LaDuca backing away, and he kind of points as if to say, see, I didn't call time, your catcher did. Isringhausen was drafted by the Mets as a center fielder, and they're the ones who converted him to pitch. 1-1 to count. The tying runs are aboard. It's 4-2 St. Louis, 9th inning. 1 out. Show you how tough Isringhausen is, why they paid him all that money to come over to St. Louis. Right-hand batters last year hit 152 against him. 152. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Green on deck. Left-handers hit 240 against him. So that 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He'll throw a cutter. He has a curveball. He's tough. Ground ball down to Polanco. He has to wait a moment. They get 1 in the dirt for 2. So the Dodgers, in a completely frustrating night, wind up being frustrated right down to the bitter end, even with a hit and an error. And Jim Edmonds, who hit the 2-run home run and threw his tourists out of the plate, definitely the player of the game. Meanwhile, it is 6-2 in favor of the Giants in the bottom of the 7th inning. So it could very well be the Dodgers will remain in first place, a half a game in front of Arizona, but the Giants will be here for the weekend, will be only a game and a half back. Tomorrow, a reminder, Benison Nomo at 12:10. Once again, the final score, Cardinals 4, Dodgers 2. For Ross Porter and Rick Monday, this is Vin Scully saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Now for Dodger postgame coverage and all the day's local sports news, let's go to the Southern California Sports Report. Good night, everybody.
Dodgers 2 runs, 11 hits, no errors.